Hello, it's back again with another update on my Black Sea ships. So for the last few weeks I've been just doing nothing but painting these ships, and now I have to bite the bullet and do the rigging. So I thought I would chronicle that with a couple of videos showing how I'm going to do it. Hopefully this will help people. I have done some rigging in the past on some small ships, so I'm hoping that these bigger ships are a little bit easier. So for this example, we have a French frigate. Oops, that's not a good way to start by dropping it. So I think I've had videos before showing how I've painted these, but I decided to put them on bases because they're fairly light. You could sort of like put putty in the base of them to weigh them down, but I think having a base looks good for a start, and it's easier to transport because you can then put magnetic strips on the back, so you can then use a toolbox for transporting them, and also it makes it easier for handling because you just handle the ship by the base instead of touching the yards and the hull and all that, and possibly damaging any rigging or paintwork. So the base is essentially just a 2mm thick card, kind of like this sort of stuff. I just had a bunch of this lying around, just cut it to shape, and then I textured it. I did post some pictures on my Twitter feed. That's Danger Gamer is my tag, so you can find me on that. But basically I used this texture paste, just an arts, just some cheap stuff I picked up from, I think, Bunnings in Australia, but you can obviously pick it up at quite a few places. It's kind of like a cosmetic cold cream, and then I mixed up that with this dark sea blue, which it ends up coming out. You can kind of see here that sort of blue color there. And then then you basically put that onto the base, sculpt it with a sculpting tool to simulate some waves. Once dry overnight, then I gave it a wash with Zerman Blue. It's a little wash. I have no idea if it's still available, but I'm sure GW have got some equivalent blue wash. It's kind of just a dark blue wash. Then once that's dry, I gave it a bit of a overpaint with dark Prussian blue, and then finished off with a bit of white, some for the little wave crests, and then along the edge of the ship's hull where it's touching the water, like to simulate the foaming water. Okay, so then like I said, I've been painting it white on the wave crests, including like a wake. Can't really see in this light, because the final step after I've painted is to give it a gloss varnish. May change that to a satin varnish if I think it's a little bit too shiny, but at the moment I think it's okay. So anyway, so that's the painted ship. So now we're going to go on to the rigging. Okay, so we're going to do the rigging. So firstly, I've got to have all the right bits and pieces together. So, of course, a bobbin of cotton thread, which came with the Black Seas ships. You get quite a lot here. You'll then need a very sharp pair of kind of like surgical scissors. So I've just bought these, very fine point, and can quite easily cut the cotton. So very sharp and very fine point, because you're going to need to get in close to the mast to snip the little bits of cotton. So that's another tool. You'll need super glue. Just using this Loctite super glue. Find with super glue you get what you paid for. So you spend the money on good super glue, and it'll work. You buy some cheap stuff like this sort of no-name stuff, it's generally pretty rubbish. So super glue, scalpel blade, again for cutting cotton close to masts and things, get a nice neat clean cut if need be. Also for possibly manipulating the thread as well. A sculpting tool here, you could use a toothpick, so I will basically squirt out a bit of the super glue onto my bit of notepad here, and then once I've got the thread in place, just take a little bit and then essentially just dab it into the position to fix the wire, fix the cotton thread. Tweezers, pretty self-explanatory, and because I'm going blind, I need glasses to see what I'm doing. Now, something else that I've picked up is these brass etch rattlers. As I've posted on other videos, I was not very happy with the look of the clear acetate ones provided by they come with the Black Seas ships. I've seen some photos, they look okay, but I'm a bit of a perfectionist, so I ended up spending a little bit more money on these rattlers from Navy Models and Books. It's the Meridian Trafalgar range of 1/700th ships. So they actually do a few extra ships. So if you're looking for other ships that aren't part of the Black Seas range, you can go to them and buy some ships from them as well. But they also do brass etched ratlins and brass etched sails as well. So if you don't like the sail card, you can buy brass etched sails for them. But I think the card, from what I've seen, looks pretty fine. It's thin enough, it's in scale with the model, so I didn't feel the need to spend a lot more money on the brass sails. And then of course you've got to have to paint them as well. So I'll happily go with the card sails for now. Now you can see this is the frigate sheet. There's also ones for first rates, which are over here. They're obviously a lot bigger. And you can see that they are adjustable, so you can cut them to size. So what you want to do with these brass things is the base of the ratlins, the width should match the width of where you're going to attach it to. So you will essentially just measure the width, and then you just trim along to the width that's required, and then you will super glue them in place, attaching them to the base part first, and then up at the top again with some super glue, and then just paint them black. You could maybe spray them black. I haven't decided how I'm going to paint them, whether I'll paint them before I put them on or afterwards. I have a feeling I'll probably do them afterwards. And because they're brass, they give a bit more stability to the model as well. So that's going to be the final step, and then in the rigging, and then the sails will be attached, and any little pendants and things like that, and then I'll put a little name tag here identifying the ship, and then they'll be done. So that's the plan. So I will be following the rigging guide that's in the book, because it's a very good guide, so I'll just follow exactly what it says there. I have seen people do all the rigging just with one thread, sort of starting at one point and then just sort of moving all the way along and doing one. That's a quick way. Looks alright, but I'm going to, at this stage, I'm just going to follow the exact description. Just one thing I've noticed on some people's photographs when they've shown their rigging is make sure when you're threading your, I'll use this pointer here. So when you're attaching your thread, don't put it below the yard. Make sure you're attaching it above the yard. because if you put it below the yard, the wire's coming down like this. Sorry, if the thread's coming down like this, when you attach the sail won't sit because the thread will be in the way. So you need to make sure that the thread comes over the top of the yard, so then the sail attaches onto the yard under the thread. So I've seen a few photos where people have done the threading and they've actually done it wrong by coming in underneath the yard and attaching it instead of over the yard. It's a little detail, but it actually will save you a hell of a lot of cursing later on when you're trying to get the sails to sit properly on the yards and their threads in the way. So I'll stop this now, and then I'll get ready to start the rigging, and then I'll start recording again. Thanks.